John moved into a small but cozy apartment in the city center. It was his first place of his own after many years of renting, and he was glad to settle in. The apartment looked perfect. High ceilings, large windows, old parquet that creaked pleasantly. The only thing that bothered him a little was the far corner of the bedroom. When he first entered the room, the corner seemed strange. The darkness in it was thicker than in the rest of the apartment, even with the light on. John attributed it to the peculiarities of the lighting and did not pay attention to it. On the first night, he woke up suddenly, feeling that someone was watching him. He lay motionless, feeling someone's gaze on him. Gathering his courage, he looked into the corner. Nothing was visible in the darkness, but the feeling did not go away. Turning on the nightlight, he examined the corner. There was nothing there except an old wall and worn wallpaper. "Just my imagination," he muttered, trying to calm himself down, and fell asleep again. However, the next night, it happened again. This time, he didn't just feel someone looking at him. It seemed to him that the darkness in the corner had become denser, as if it were moving. When he turned on the light, he again found nothing strange. But now the corner seemed to have a life of its own. John began to notice that at night the shadows in the corner became too clear, as if they were coming from something he couldn't see. With each passing day, the feeling that someone was watching him grew stronger. With each passing day, the corner became more and more ominous to John. The dark spot in his room seemed motionless, yet somehow alive. Sometimes he found himself staring at it for too long, as if trying to find something that shouldn't be there. The nights got worse. One night, waking up in the middle of the night, he saw it for the first time, in the very depths of the corner, where the darkness was thickest. Two dim eyes gleamed. They didn't move, but they were looking straight at him. John froze, his breathing quickening. When he turned on the light, he saw that the corner was empty again. "I'm going crazy," he muttered, but he couldn't sleep anymore. The following nights were even worse. It seemed to him that the eyes in the darkness were getting closer. Now he could see that they were moving slightly, as if the thing in the corner was breathing. One night, he woke up with the feeling that the air had become heavy and cold. The room was completely silent, and he felt something change. He didn't need to open his eyes to know he wasn't alone. John rolled over slowly, and in the darkness, he saw the outline of a figure. Its silhouette merged with the darkness, but its eyes, dull, faded, were looking straight at him, much closer now. He froze, trying not to make a sound, but then he felt it. A cold, barely perceptible breath touched his neck. It was slow, rhythmic, as if someone was standing behind him, leaning very close. His heart began to pound so loudly that he was afraid the creature would hear it too. He didn't move until the breathing became quieter and then disappeared completely. When he decided to turn on the light, the room was empty. But now he knew for sure that the corner was no longer just a place. It was something else. Something that was getting closer. John was losing his mind. Every day the darkness in the corner grew thicker, and the eyes came closer. He didn't sleep anymore, leaving the light on all night, but it didn't help. Even with the lamp, he could feel the shadows in the corner pulsating, waiting to cover him. He decided to move out. Things were packed in a hurry, doors slammed, but it all seemed useless. As soon as he reached the front door, a cold wind swept through the apartment, as if an invisible hand had slammed it shut in front of him. John rushed to the window, but it was also locked, as if the whole house had become a trap. There was a grinding sound behind him. He turned slowly. The darkness previously hidden in the corner began to spread, filling the room. A thick black gloom moved like a living mass, absorbing the light. He screamed, but the sound of his voice immediately disappeared, as if drowned in this darkness. The eyes in the darkness began to multiply. They appeared everywhere, in the walls, in the floor, even on the ceiling. They all looked at him, cold and unfeeling. John felt his legs freeze. He wanted to run, but he could not move. The darkness surrounded him. Cold hands seemed to pull him down into the very depths of the corner. The last thing he saw was his own reflection in the mirror opposite. But it was no longer him. In the mirror, his eyes were faded, like those of those creatures in the corner. A few days later, a new tenant moved into the apartment. He did not know anything about John, but he noticed one oddity. At night, someone was watching him from the far corner of the room. In the darkness, he saw a pair of eyes, or maybe two.